Following on from the 2015 launch of its hatchback sibling, the spacious Vauxhall Astra Sports Tourer is the estate car member of the family. Like the Vauxhall Astra hatchback, the Sports Tourer is the seventh generation of estates to wear the name, its lineage stretching back to 1980. Even though it has one of the largest boots in its class and more room for passengers than its predecessor, the British-built Sports Tourer won't have things all its own way in the mid-sized family estate market. There's fierce competition in the forms of not just the Ford Focus estate and Volkswagen Golf estate, but other players such as the capacious Honda Civic Tourer, Peugeot 308 SW and Skoda Octavia estate. Lighter, more spacious body, an impressive 135 kilograms has been shaved from the Vauxhall Astra Sports Tourer's heft in spite of it being slightly larger than the model it replaces, and employing high-strength steel in its construction. Like the hatchback, it rides on an all-new, lighter underbody, being less heavy allows for compact, more efficient engines as well as a size reduction for other components, like smaller brakes. This reduces the Astra Sports Tourer's thirst for fuel, aided by improved aerodynamics which match the hatchback's wind-cheating performance. Despite being lighter, the latest Sports Tourer structure is also more rigid, allowing engineers to fine-tune the handling to an impressive degree. It's set to sate more enthusiastic drivers with its wieldiness just as the hatchback does. No surprise that the interior is as accommodating for passengers as the Astra hatchback. 4 6-foot-tall adults will easily sit comfortably while the back seat accommodates 3 child seats, a rarity in a car that's not a traditional MPV. Efficient engine range, save for the entry-level 1.4-litre petrol with 100 horsepower. All of the other engines in the Vauxhall Astra Sports Tourer lineup are turbocharged. The petrol range is fleshed out by a 3-cylinder 1.0-litre motor with 105 horsepower, a further pair of 1.4s with 125 horsepower and 150 horsepower, respectively, and topping the performance side of the range, a 1.6-litre with 200 horsepower. That's the one to go for if a 146 miles per hour top speed and 0.62 miles per hour sprint of 7.2 seconds are at the top of your priority list. Diesels are expected to make up the majority of sales. All are 1.6-litre versions of Vauxhall's Wisp-T unit in 110 horsepower, 136 horsepower and in bi-turbo form, 160 horsepower. With a claimed average of 83.1 miles per gallon and CO2 emissions of 89 gkm, versions of the 110 horsepower engine with a fuel-saving EcoFlex pack and riding on 16-inch wheels will minimize running costs. Well-equipped, simplified range, almost mirroring its hatchback counterpart, the Vauxhall Astra Sports Tourer lineup consists of 4 trim levels. There's no energy grade for the estate range, but many of the features offered are more commonly associated with more expensive cars. Both Shri and Elite trims come with Vauxhall's online Concierge service, OnStar, as standard. Press the OnStar button just above the rear view mirror and you're put through to a Luton-based call center. Need directions to a restaurant? The OnStar representative will present a range of alternatives with the directions to your chosen one sent straight to the sat-nav. If you drive a lot at night you'll be impressed with the illumination of the optional Intellilux LED matrix headlights. Not only do they offer directional functions when cornering, the automatic main beam prevents oncoming drivers from being dazzled. Vauxhall Astra Sports Tourer model history, March 2016, all-new 7th generation estate version of the Astra launched with a broad range of petrol, 1.4 100 horsepower, 1.0 turbo 105 horsepower, 1.4 turbo 125 horsepower and 150 horsepower, and 1.6 turbo 200 horsepower, and diesel, 1.6 and 110 horsepower, 136 horsepower and 160 horsepower, engines. Trim hierarchy almost mirrors the hatchback with design, techline, Shri, Naf, Elite and Elite Naf specifications. There are no hybrid or electric power plants for the latest Vauxhall Astra Sports Tourer. Instead, performance is delivered by a range of petrol and diesel engines, all barring one of which are turbocharged. 5 petrol engines to choose from, kicking off the Astra Sports Tourer range is a non-turbo 1.4-litre petrol producing just 100 horsepower and 130 Nm of torque at 4,300 revolutions per minute, with power sent to the front wheels via a 5-speed manual gearbox. Performance appears to be leisurely with a 115 miles per hour top speed and a 13.1 second time to reach 60 miles per hour from a standstill. Stick to the smaller 16-inch wheels for a claimed economy of 51.4 miles per gallon and CO2 emissions rated at 127 GkM. Offering marginally more performance with superior fuel economy is the turbocharged, 3-cylinder 1.0-litre petrol. It produces 105 horsepower and 170 Nm of torque from a low 1,800 revolutions per minute, allowing it to pull away from junctions with greater ease. It's a quiet, refined engine that feels at home in the Astra, although more power wouldn't go amiss. Vauxhall claims a top speed of 121 miles per hour, 060 miles per hour time of 11.0 seconds and up to 62.8 miles per gallon thanks to stop-start and EcoFlex fuel-saving additions. Emissions are as low as 103 GkM of CO2. 2 motors in the middle of the range are expected to sell best from the petrol ensemble, 125 horsepower and 150 horsepower editions of the turbocharged 1.4-litre. Both produce 245 Nm of torque from 2,000 revolutions per minute and feature a 6-speed manual gearbox as standard, more powerful engines also available with a 6-speed automatic. No prizes for guessing that the 150 horsepower version's the quicker of the two, -134 miles per hour and 060 miles per hour in 8.2 seconds. Versus 127 miles per hour and 9.0 seconds, but efficiency is closely matched at 50.4 to 51.4 miles per gallon and CO2 emissions rated at 127 to 130 GkM, respectively. Topping the range is the 1.6-litre turbo with 200 horsepower and 300 Nm of torque from just 1,700 revolutions per minute. It feels brisk rather than sporty, despite claims of 146 miles per hour and a hot hatch-like 7.2-second sprint from 060 miles per hour. Unsurprisingly, it's the least efficient of the sports tourer lineup, Vauxhall quoting 45.6 miles per gallon and 142 GkM of CO2. Trio of diesels available. Whichever of the diesels you opt for, your Vauxhall Astra Sports Tourer will have a 1.6-litre engine under its bonnet. Entry point is the 110 horsepower version of the Whisper diesel, which focuses on economy rather than performance. A healthy 300 Nm of torque on song from 1,750 revolutions per minute, ensuring 060 miles per hour time of 10.7 seconds with a top speed of 121 miles per hour. Add on the fuel miserly EcoFlex package and you've got the most efficient of sports tourer available, with claims of up to 83.1 miles per gallon and CO2 emissions pegged at 89 GkM. Most diesel customers are expected to opt for the more powerful 136 horsepower edition and be willing to sacrifice a modest degree of fuel efficiency for notably improved performance. There's a marginal hike in torque, now up to 320 Nm at a slightly higher 2,000 revolutions per minute, which reduces the 060 miles per hour time to 9.5 seconds. Top speeds recorded at 127 miles per hour. Vauxhall still posts an official claim of up to 74.3 miles per gallon and CO2 emissions at 101 GkM. Each diesel's fitted with a 6-speed manual gearbox as standard, with the 136 horsepower version optionally available with a 6-speed automatic, pulling economy down to 62.8 miles per gallon when fitted with 16-inch wheels. Providing even more pace is the biturbo version of the diesel, producing 160 horsepower and 350 Nm of torque from just 1,500 revolutions per minute. It's a responsive unit, with negligible turbo lag, offering strong performance without having a woeful impact on efficiency. It'll reach 137 miles per hour, completing the 060 miles per hour dash in 8.4 seconds. It still has a claimed average of 68.9 miles per gallon and emissions of 109 gkm of CO2.